Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Starladder Season 10. I'm your host, LD of Beyond the Summit, and we're about to get underway with day number, I believe it's number 8 of Starladder North America, or America, I should say. Not just North America. In fact, we do have one of the South American teams competing today. It's going to be Union Gaming first up against Navi US. And with that being said, I'm joined here today by Blaze as we hop into the draft and get this show on the road. Hey, Blaze, how you doing?
Doing really well. I had a nice day of just quiet ranked matchmaking. Had some good wins here, and
A
now
nice day of ranked matchmaking. That is literally
it's a gem.
impossible.
It is
That's
a
a
rarity. It is a
contradiction, my
gem.
friend.
But
There is no such thing.
when you experience it, it's like finding a unicorn in the wild, really. But
I
yeah.
hear that.
Well, we'll see. Union Gaming, a team that I've been following, at least the members of, for about a year and a half now. They've grown so far and so much in this short span of time. And Navi US, of course, one of the most formidable teams to come out of the North American scene. Originally, the North American Rejects, picked up by Navi US, and obviously even showing their chops in through the TI4 qualifiers. So yeah, we'll see what they bring to the table today, but it isn't going to be for standings. Since this is our last day, looking at the standings, we already have our top 4 for the best of 3 double elimination bracket. So essentially the end result here is going to be which teams are seeded as high as possible to have the best possible matches going into that bracket. For now, the top 4 are Sneaky Nick's Assassins, Not Today, Navi US, and EG. And obviously Navi US here are trying to take this win in order to bring themselves that much closer to the first seed.
Yeah, and of course it is a 4-team playoff at the end of the group stage, and only the first team goes to Kiev. EG will undoubtedly be the heavy favorites.
Is it the first or the first 2?
I believe it's only first place.
Okay.
Isn't it? It's one team from China, one from Southeast Asia, 4 from Europe.
Dire team pick.
What do I miss? No, it's 2 from China, I think, isn't it? Jeez, I should know this. Honestly,
Okay,
my
two
head
from
is a mess.
China.
I've not slept. I've been, well, doing mysterious things which I can't talk about. But yeah, we'll get back in the draft here, guys. And
Secrets.
actually, I gotta look this up because that's just
Okay, I'm seeing it right here on the
goddamn
Wikipedia.
embarrassing.
Assuming that's right, it's going to be 2 from China, 2 from China, 2 from America, 2 from China. I'm not even saying it right. 1 from America, 1 from SCA,
and
then,
4
of
from
course,
Europe.
4
Okay.
from Europe.
yeah. So it's the same as last season, except you will have Korea being replaced by Southeast Asia. That's the only difference.
Yep.
So,
Sponsorship.
so Navi US have their work cut out for them. Even if they win all their games in the group stage, they still have to beat EG and potentially an elimination playoff match. And, well, that's tough. Rumor is that there's some internal issues brewing with Navi US, but my lips are sealed beyond that. So yeah, look at the draft here. Pretty much the same old faces getting banned out. The one not interesting, but slightly less common ban in other regions is just this Tidehunter ban, a hero that has not been very popular in China. The European teams haven't been favoring him too much, at least not the teams I was casting at DreamHack Moscow, the CIS teams. But other than that, everything looking pretty standard. Scarith Mage a little bit less valued, being picked up as the 4th overall pick in the draft. Yet it's pretty much same old other than that. Do you see a Visage pick? And does Union run this with a Drow Ranger or just standalone
Just straight
Visage?
up. Just kind of a standalone Visage, kind of the way that we used to see Titan or Orange Esports run it very frequently, is just to get huge potential turnaround damage with the excellent skill set. Of course, there is the possibility of the Drow there. It would synergize well with the fact that Razor loves to get that extra right-click damage, and I guess even the Brewmaster Wind Panda would get the benefit, at least when he's in 900 range, but he's got piercing damage anyways, nobody cares about that. So, yeah, I wouldn't say the Drow is a necessity here, but certainly would add a nice extra bit of physical damage to make those familiars hit hard against the 2 low armor heroes that are already up on the field here. Doom and Skywrath, very squishy in terms of actual physical effective HP, and they're going to exploit that with this Venge combo. Getting the Wave of Terror out and the Eye of the Storm, this is going to be a lot of negative armor against heroes that's their specific vulnerability. Along with that, Venge gets the range of initiation on Tinker, so you can actually pursue him within the tree line, which is really cool. So I think this is a really great draft starting out from Union Gaming, and they have answers to just about everything that Navi US have brought so far.
Well, I would say sort of, because yes, you can scout with Wave of Terror. Yes, Swap is good to find Tinker in the trees. But at the same time, he can still blink out after Swap if he's quick. Venge can't move around the map the way a Tinker can. Familiars can't move around the map the way a Tinker can. So I feel like it's kind of like a sort of solution. I think really where Union Gaming will be strong is with their 5-man. Like, getting the Familiars up and then pushing with the Venjar, the Razor Mech, the Brew Blink. I still don't think you want to take this late against Navi US.
Oh, definitely not. The Tinker and Doom are going to be extremely potent when they get up to their maybe refresher stage for the Doom and Dagon 5 Ethereal Blade stage for the Tinker. It's just not something that you want to go up against. But with the amount of push they can put in behind the Razor as kind of their anchor and just kind of rotating the fights about him, making sure he stays close enough to the fight to maximize his offensive potential, but not risking his own life. Obviously, they have things like defensive swap to respond with that. Though against Impetus, it's not always the best thing. It doesn't disjoint, so you might just be setting up a nuclear missile coming in from the Enchantress. But yeah, we'll see that the fights break down pretty chaotic. I think it'll be because there's going to be a lot of damage flying out, especially when there's a Visage on the table in particular. Essentially, he's going to try, if he's going down, he's taking you with him. He's going to be able to put out a huge amount of magical burst damage, and that often makes it a 1-for-1 unless you commit the silence to him. But right here, there are so many targets that you want to silence, you want to doom, and they're obviously only going to get 1 or 2.
Yeah, Brew's probably the big one, but potentially a farmed Razor would be the target if you can just jump him before he pops his ult and static link. So we'll see if Navi US find those openings. It's a lot of it's on the Scarlet Mage and Enchantress, and that's good news for Navi US, I would say, because these are two of the best level 1 supports in the game, if not the best duo right now. They're definitely near the top of that list. And we'll see Union Gaming go now for a lone Druid. A hero that I did not see once in like the past 2 weeks of casting first WEC and then DreamHack Moscow or the Game Show League, but I know he's been picked here or there like sporadically, and I haven't gotten to watch the games too much, but it seemed like it was mixed results at best.
Yeah, it's difficult for Lundred in this metagame in general. He's so easy to bring down the bear in general, and when you do, you feed away a lot of gold, you lose a lot of value for yourself. So it's going to be a tough one, and I guess it's just going to be back on their emphasis on early game potency and a hard push, because the way they need to run this is like pretty much all rallying the troops at level 7, level 8, and just deathballing as hard as possible. Maybe you can have the Lone Druid split push while 4 go the other way, but that's going to be an easy setup for a Bat Rider to kill the Lone Druid and then TP top to defend. So yeah, I think at this position, although I like the draft in general, they're going to have to play it very smart if they're going to take an early advantage.
Uh-oh, we're trapped in the draft here. Let's fix that one. All right, we are in America. I am really bad at using... Starladder has an amazing overlay package. Really, really cool proprietary software. And I am just garbage at using it. I'm not doing it justice. But I've seen like the Russian stream and they're showing like player statistics, most played heroes. Honestly, it's just hard enough for me to cast without trying to control it all at once. Give me a producer, man. Someday. But, well, actually, we did open up the job search for that, so... if you haven't already heard, we are hiring a videographer/producer, at least looking for one. If you have the expertise, then well, that would be one way you could definitely make a difference. But we'll see. Union Gaming smoke up, and they might find Snaking here in the river. He's just about to be in magic missile range. Might be just outside. No, they do get it off. Can they follow it up with a clap, though? No, it doesn't look like it. Just plasma field and no range for the Grave Chill, so he will make his way out in the end. Almost a first blood opportunity, but not quite. And with that, we can introduce our teams here quickly. So for Union Gaming, we have Xander. We'll be playing the Visage. We have Benya. Is it Benhaz?
It's either Benyay or Benhaz. I'm not sure the dialect for that specific region, but I haven't heard it out loud, so I've been going with Benhaz for almost a year now.
I'll say Benhaz then. I trust you. I trust you, David. And we've got Jericho playing the Vengeful Spirit towards the mid lane. Side Raelin will be on the Brewmaster, and that puts Angel in the top lane as a basically a dying breed, if not a extinct breed in the safe lane Lone Druid. Over on the side of Navi US, Brax, your offlaner, will be on the Bat Rider. Solo mid goes the King, the one and only King. He's already down a pooled Tango and the cooldown for it as well on the Tinker. 1437, Theban will be handling your Enchantress. Korok, not even bothering, actually they're just running a straight safe lane Doom, it looks like. He may take the jungle early on and let the Scarth get the levels, but with his camps blocked, may not have that choice, and that will leave Fogged on the, in theory, 5-position support on the Scarth Mage.
Yeah, so essentially Navi US's draft is designed to get off their feet really early on with the Devour, with the Enchant, controlling the jungle very well and getting a lot of resources off the map. But the stance that Union Gaming have taken is directly opposite that. They're going to be going very active on the bottom lane. They're going to be putting pressure on the jungle, obviously already warding it up, so it's difficult to rotate into, and in general, just make sure that they keep Navi US out of their comfort zone. In the meantime, Angel will have a pretty decent 1v1 matchup here. Up against Brax is not guaranteed or anything, but it's still probably the best place you can run the Lone Druid at this stage.
Yeah, Bat has not gone boots first. Sometimes Bat players can get a first blood on Lone Druid if he lets the Napalm stick up too much, or stack up too much, and gets dove under his tower, but with no boots, there's no way Brax can get that kill, at least not yet. So still some kill potential for the Bat Rider, but assuming he doesn't find a kill before level 5, then this matchup usually goes heavily in favor of the Lone Druid at that point. It's very difficult to dive when he's got phase boots and, of course, the Entangle proc. As for Union Gaming, they're up against the Wild Wing Ripper. Won't be able to channel a Tornado for too long as Jericho is harassing it back a bit. Already used the cooldown once. 3 camps were blocked. They also dropped a Magic Bush Forge. They've got a double block on this big camp, ensuring that this greedy Doom that they want to kind of be running as a secondary jungler is forced to sit in the lane. And maybe they go for a dive here. They get a stun off on Fog. This could be our first blood. Xander following this one up. His damage is stolen by Benhaz. Bringing Fog nearly down. He doesn't have a salve, but the turn may come here as Benhaz starts to tank a lot of tower shots. Krogna on the chase. He does have Clap, but can he get a range for it? No, no chance for that. If he could have, might have been a kill, but yeah, in the end, won't find the opening.
Yep. As far as just generic CS, we're going to be seeing 9-2 on the Tinker on the mid lane there, so he's doing really well against the Brewmaster. Early on, the laser is going to be a very cost-effective way to guarantee CS, either blinding the Brew or by just obviously hitting on the creep itself. But as it goes along, it's actually not going to be enough for him to really find the timing that he's looking for these BOTs. So maybe they're going to look to stack up the Ancients. I can't imagine they stack up any Radiant jungle camps for him, since 1437 is essentially as desperate as he can be if you're jungle farm. But we're going to see at least a flank to gank rotation. Probably just going to go for a basic smoke wrap around here. Brew's not the easiest target to bring down, though, so maybe he wants to collaborate with Brax on the top lane.
Yeah, and Tinker's already skilled March. That is a very low percentage kill. Even with Rockets, I honestly, I don't think you can get that kill unless he's up. Side rail and gets the clap and the auto crit off and instantly drops Snaking below half. But the blind will save him. Looks like they want to wrap around bottom lane on the side of Union, but 1437, he finds a centaur. This will be the perfect time to go in, but the Dark Troll Warlord's going to despawn, and meanwhile, Snaking gets dove under the tier 1 mid and die solo to a Brew with no boots. Let him get a range for that clap, I guess, and from there it was just auto attacks down. Well, the dive top lane, though, looking for Angel. This should have been the first blood, as Navi US will collect one, but you really shouldn't die as Tinker in that matchup if you just sit back. I guess he let himself get clapped, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, he was looking for some turnaround damage with the March Machines and thinking of it as a trade rather than an all-in, and the Brewmaster closes him with that double damage rune, and those big crits are easy to underestimate. So yeah, he goes down pretty quickly, and that's going to make the matchup extremely difficult for him if they don't start rebounding with other things. The laser does harass back Citadel, but he does have that Bottle Crow active, so not only is he going to get his first, actually he's not even going to buy anything with the first 850. Might have gone for like phase if he just waited a little bit, but nah, he wants the restoration as quickly as possible to try and get the rune, but it's going to be Fog to cover it up, an illusion for him, and they'll be able to try to get back control of this bottom lane.
Yeah, meanwhile the pressure bottom lane does mount. It's kind of funny, Jericho ran in to try and harass this Doom, and Korok just turned and smacked it with his sword, and immediately Jericho retreated. Did not have any backup for that. But so far, the tri-lane hasn't really done too much.
Mid lane again.
Snaking, really?
Yeah, he's taking a lot of damage here. He wasn't going to pursue under the tower for the full second clap, but the cooldown on laser and thunderclap are essentially like identical there. So it is really close to call if you can actually get that last right click in to finish him off. But
and
he
if you
was
can
actually
stay in
close.
range for a secondary clap, then you can get a kill. But yeah, when the initial damage came out before the first blood attempt, he was allowed to disengage, and then just walk back in, I guess, for the march, and from there gave up the kill. Yeah, you can just get the clap off, get the right click off, get blinded, and then still chase, wait for the second clap to cool down, and find first bloods that way if you're not careful. So it's something Snaking will have to keep an eye on. As he has managed to pick up his soul ring. He's still CSing pretty well, though. 28 CS, way up on the Brew, and that first blood just brings the lane slightly in favor of the Brewmaster. The key is, what does he do now that he's his ult? Can he find a secondary kill? He's clapping the wave for now. Meanwhile, both teams are cutting the creeps and kind of diving the enemy safe lane as Jericho wraps around deep behind enemy lines, looking for Fog. Can't get a range for him just yet. There will be a Dire Glyph trying to stall this push top lane as Enchantress moves into position to force the issue a bit. They'll bring a rotation in now. Side Railin's coming top. He has his ult, and he's gone phase boots, so this may catch Navi US off guard. They have no detection, and Brax will get entangled under the tower. Easy kill for Side Rail, and it's a double for the Brew. Oh, that is not a double you want to be giving away. He got a first blood. He's now got a double kill, and despite his relatively mediocre CS, he is well on his way to a blink.
Yeah, so I mean that's a great rotation for him. They knew that they were going to commit for the bear in general once they had harassed it that low. And as far as it dropping down, it did, I believe, die to a creep. Yeah, it was killed by a melee creep, so no bounty there for the side Navi US. So it's all bad news for them in that aggressive stance. And it's just, it's kind of been prompted by the fact that 1437 doesn't have a jungle to call home. Finally, his camps are starting to respawn, but in general, like the potential to go in kind of 2.5 versus 3 when you're creeps are going to be at half duration every time you go from the western side of the jungle over to the eastern side, it just makes it almost impossible. So they've half-seeded this lane. If you see, like, the CS values, obviously, on anybody on the bottom lane on Radiant side are quite minimal. Doom sitting at 12. So
but he's level 5 against the tri-lane. I mean, he's still got to be happy about that.
Yeah, but they're assuming that they're not going to contest the creep waves at the very least. They're just going to try to survive, try to get the experience. But I don't know, with Brewmaster looking to maybe dive on Fog, there's some potential the other way around.
Yeah, and the thing with the Doom is you don't have to, even if you don't have the best CS, if you just get level 6, you can start making things. You can start making things happen for your team. So we'll see if he goes for a gank soon. But meanwhile, it looks like they will take the tier 1 bottom and. To me, this is the big thing. Taking the tower down. Brew Blink is now coming extremely soon. We're looking at a 9-minute phase Blink bottle on the Brew, and don't underestimate his right clicks when you level up Drunken Brawler. Those pack a punch at this early stage of the game. Something that Union Gaming will it'll be a nice tool in their arsenal. And this is exactly the kind of start they needed overall. Getting the first blood, getting a fast Brewmaster Blink. They lead by 2k gold. Down on experience, but for them, the key is just making things happen now that they've got split, and they will smoke. The movement towards this smoke position was spotted by a Radiant Ward, so it's possible Navi US know it's coming. As Korok is hiding in the trees, he doesn't have level 6 yet, but might try to backstab the Lone Druid. Three are going in on top. They're going to stomp Angel up and look for that dive. While simultaneously in the bottom lane, they'll make the move onto Snake King's Tinker, and they lasso up the bear. He looks to be dead. Snake King also going to get caught out. The Tinker will fall. The Lone Druid will as well. So technically 1-for-1. 2 cores going down. I suppose fairly even in that regard, but killing Tinker before BOT is always going to be extra crucial. As Korok diving for a second kill. Doesn't have phase boots, but might just be able to run this Visage down. Has the higher base move speed by 5. 1437 will catch him out, and this should be the death of the Visage. So make it a 2-for-1, favoring Navi US there.
Yeah, definitely the body count will favor Navi US, but the lack of potency on the Tinker for the first 15 minutes of the game is going to be extremely regrettable nevertheless. He's actually going to go top lane where they feel like they have the most control over the enemy territory, and he's maybe going to be farming up a couple of camps there or actually using the march to push things in. So Korok and Snake King both trying to find gold across the map, and they're kind of stealing it from one another.
Doom does have Devour, but yeah, this is not ideal to see your Tinker and Doom both farming the same lane before Tinker even has BOTs. I think for Navi US, just looking to take a tower and wanting to kind of draw this Brew into to play to their tune rather than be able to control the tempo and put aggression out on the map. As he will try to push him in. He's actually spotted out Fogged here with the phase boots. He's going to be able to run this guy with Mage down, but there is the silence story about. While meanwhile, top lane, the bear is in pursuit, looking for an entangle and Tinker. Concussive shot to slow down the chase, and the sandwich is going to happen. It's Snake King going down first to the bear. Meanwhile, the dive goes in behind the enemy tier 1 tower. 2 separate engagements. Side railing still has a split. He's probably going to use that. Angel will fall. He was doomed for this. And now back to the other engagement where the split comes out, but it's not going to be used to chase the Bat Ride. It'll be used to chase the other backline heroes. Looking to TP out. Korok, nope, actually doesn't have mana for the TP scroll. Cyclone up in the air. Now he's got the magic stick charges. Won't get to use them. It's 3 down for Navi US. Again, the Tinker dying. This time also the Doom. Perfect execution from Union. Now the question is, can they take a tower on the back of this? They have their mech, but no mana to use it right now.
Yeah, so they're just going to be able to pretty much wherever Panda goes, take a fight. The double damage room was pretty huge for Vegas, so that even with or without silence, he was able to bring down the Skywrath really easily. But yeah, he's just got great rune control in general. Tinker's not a hero that just wanders happenstance into the river. He needs support to help him out with that.
As you say that, he gets an invis.
Yeah, it's just huge. And they actually, I think they already de-warded this. Visage took out that Radiant Ward on the bottom rune, so
this is
that's
a pretty clean
kill.
Tinker has no TP. Snake King is dead.
The laser will help, but I think he'll still be able to pursue it. He wants help a little bit sooner, and he knows that Snake King's not going anywhere without a TP, so he can wait it out a little bit.
The Visage is on the way. This is the death of Snake King. Almost certainly, yeah. There's your clap. The auto attack brings him down basically to nothing. He'll turn for a laser, but Soul Assumption will end the King. And he's fallen quite a bit this game, man. That is death number 4 for Snake King. It began with a first blood given up to a bootsless Brewmaster. with no haste or invis rune, just walked up and clapped him and right-clicked him down while Laser was on cooldown, and it continues now. That's obviously a much more difficult kill to avoid, given that in Snakehane's defense, his tier 1's down bottom, they have no ward vision in their jungle, and Brewmaster, and no ward vision of the rune, and Brewmaster got an invis. That being said, it's got to stop, because if he keeps on dying, the death ball from Union Gaming won't be denied.
Oh, Fog just walks right up to him. He's actually going to blink out defensively, doesn't know what's around the bend, and just reacts in a defensive posture outright. But, man, that is just like, they're really making this Tinker's life a living hell. I mean, you look at actually the Ancients. 1437 was trying to micro an enchanted Hellbear to actually stack those up, but they got the Observer Ward in place a couple minutes back, and that's going to be there for 5 more minutes if they don't actually commit a Sentry Ward. So not only are they taking towers, they're taking control of the map, but they're giving Snaking absolutely nothing to try to rebound with.
And they're getting the right items to just push their advantage right now. Medallion picked up on the Visage, he's got his ultimate, point booster on Brew, the mech we already mentioned. The Death Ball only gets stronger from here, and with an Aegis to complement it, something Na'Vi US are going to have difficulty contesting. They are about to get a blink on Brax. That will help them. And Korok has Doom, but, I mean, can you really walk into the pit against Familiars, the mech on the Razor, without that much burst damage? I'm not seeing it. Not to mention, your Tinker has no BOT, so he's just walking in. It's a pedestrian Tinker in a game where he needs a big ride to get moving towards objectives. I'm very worried for Na'Vi US at this point.
Yeah, he's actually going to use the regen rune to farm, so yeah, there's no way that he's going to be able to commit like a full couple of mana bars to a team fight as it is. But yeah, Brax at least has the Blink Dagger here, so they have some opportunity to pick somebody off, or if there was a clash in the pit, which actually the Bear's making its way there.
The
yeah,
question,
they're going to look to 3-man
the question
this.
is, who do you lasso, right? Because if you don't lasso Venge, he can probably swap out. There's no Force Staff yet on that, and if you go on the Brew or the Razor anyway, can they actually burst these heroes down? Maybe with Doom and Lasso and everyone nuking them, but that's going to be tough.
Yeah, and I love this play from Union Gaming, the fact that they can go for a 3-man movement in the pit because they have Medallion and Wave of Terror. This roast drops extremely quickly, and there's no full understanding of it. Even if they had wards up, they wouldn't 100% know, because the fact that there are 2 sitting in mid just kind of minding their own business. It's implied, and like you said, it's difficult to contest in either case, but they do it subtly to the point that they can just kind of go about their business with the Aegis on the Bear, and one of the better Aegis carriers in the game, actually.
Yeah, unlike a lot of those other transformation heroes, like, you know, say Dragonite or something, important thing is his Spirit Bear stays alive, so a great hero to be carrying the Aegis, especially if he goes for something like a Radiance. Well, we'll see what he wants to do. Maybe just an early Assault Cross. He's actually picked up a Maelstrom recipe, so definitely focus more on this early to mid-game aggression as the Snakehane once again just drops mid. They made their way through the trees, dropped an Observer Ward, blink clap, and say goodbye to the King. Still no BOTs. We're now 14 minutes in, and this is getting to the point of no coming back. I mean, it's a Tinker Doom. In theory, they can always come back, but if you get your boots of travel this late, like, you can't really split push because you don't have that mobility to dodge ganks, and if you're defending, very easy for them to jump you and kill you without a Blink Dagger of your own. And another invis.
Speaking of,
this is going to be another kill for Sidereal, and he will pop his ult. Fog tries to retreat with a concussive shot. Not going to happen as the Boulder Toss comes through, and the Fire Panda will end his life. While meanwhile, the Enchantress cycloned up during this time. They may go for a secondary kill here. 1437 does have his heal available. He'll need to pop it now, and well, this is just going to keep him off the fight mid, where it's just Brax and Snakehane trying to defend. With no BOTs on Tinker, he's got to be careful about how far forward he walks. He does know Brew's not there. And still the chase top lane. Phase boots, right-click and clap, maybe enough. No mana for that clap. I think one more clap it would be... He's running down the river. He's not running towards his teammate. This could be trouble for 1437. Now he's going to turn, runs back the other direction, but he runs back down into the river again. He's running farther away from the reinforcing Scarlet Mage, directly into Avenge Stun. Maybe he thought there was a backstab coming from the mid-heroes, but there was not. He could have just ran down the top lane, and I'm pretty sure would have lived.
Yeah, I believe so too. And they have a decently placed Radiant Observer Ward to give him kind of perspective of where people were moving about, but he tries to just in general avoid where the Brewmaster seemed to be hurting him, and playing reactively like that cost him his life. So
they are out of sync, Blaze. There's no other way to put it. Na'Vi US, look, they're a mess right now.
They actually looked a little shaky the last game that we saw. Of course, they were up against EG, so that was a difficult one. But it seemed like a couple of the players were making some really good plays, reacting, playing very smart, and a couple of them were shaky to the point that it just was completely out of sync, and they didn't make the plays happen when they needed them to. This is kind of a little bit easier because the draft is let's just fall back, find a pick off every lasso, and otherwise just keep turtled up. But because Union Gaming have put out this much pressure this early on, it's just not been a great response. And now finally BOT's come out. But we were talking about how they have some answers for the Blink Tinker and some answers that won't be sufficient at long range. But in this case here, the Vengeful Spirit is actually going to have like 2 points in Nether Swap by the time the Tinker actually picks up his Blink Dagger. It's just been so delayed.
Yeah, the Venge is getting her level progression quite quickly. She's keeping up with the enemy Enchantress. Not normally something you see at this stage of the game. Like a little bit later on if you get a bunch of kills perhaps, but we're only 17 minutes in. Normally your Enchant would at least have a similar, would at least have like a 2 or 3 level advantage, I would say, but well, not the case. And not only that, but I just love this item progression overall from Union Gaming. Just focusing on, they understand their draft, right? Like they know they don't want this to go late even with a big lead. So they get all the mid-game centric items. The Urn, the Medallion, the Aghanim's now being built on Razor. I mean, pretty much your standard Razor build with the mech Aghanim Scepter, but yeah, just all items to end the game by the 25-minute mark. Now, there's always the potential for throw, but if you want to run the strat, this is how you execute it. And the only question is if they can follow it through to the conclusion they're hoping for.
Yeah, the two ways they can go about concluding this game is getting a Pipe of Insight. We actually see sometimes the Lone Druid picks that up on his own person. Otherwise, they have to pick off the Tinker beforehand, because otherwise we're just going to see this March spam come out, and they're not going to be able to breach with this kind of set. I mean, obviously the Aegis helps, but they're not at that big of an advantage. March of Machines is still very painful. It kills off familiars extremely quickly as its universal damage. And
oh no, not against Snake King. This has to stop happening. He doesn't have BOTs available, but the lasso will be there from Brax. They might be able to kill a side rally. No, the smoke will break the lasso. It allows him to walk out of the Mystic Flare. He's going to be able to split and turn this one. They lost their Bat Rider. They did save Snake King, so a noble sacrifice from Brax, but it cost them more. It might cost them Snake King as well. He doesn't have the BOTs available. They're still cooling down. Is there range for a Cyclone here? Might just be able to get her in tornado range. He's going to be close. Oh, just short.
Actually began casting it, and in the animation it dispelled. So. Yeah, close, but it would have been a pretty deep dive to go after that at that point anyway.
I don't know, man. I think they had him. They had 5 heroes deathballing at him with an Aegis and a Mech Razor. He would have. I'm pretty sure he would have been dead.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I guess I'm kind of thinking of Tinkers at 18 minutes that aren't in the situation Snake King's in. I usually
that aren't running for their life. Constantly.
Yeah, I'm thinking like Blink Daggers and Dagons and actual items. But right now the GPM of Snake King is 340. Like, that is down in the dumps. The Bat Rider hasn't been able to get much either because Tinker's been monopolizing the jungle, trying to just get back to where he needs to be, and it sets the entire team back to the point that with the next Aegis in maybe 4 minutes' time, they're going to have these multiple Aghanim Scepters, and they're going to be able to push the high ground with Pipe or without.
To be fair, although Snake King definitely misplayed giving up First Blood, like, that just shouldn't happen, at the same time, the rest of their lanes weren't really well equipped to bounce back from that. You are running a strong roaming duo in Enchantress and Skyrath, but you're also running a safe laner that's very weak in the Doom, as Jericho gets caught out and doomed by Korok, but Side Railing will keep him alive. Forces that Doom off, might have to deny him. It's going to be real close. I think he just lives here.
Oh,
yeah, just lives.
Jeez, that value, Magic Wand and Urn of Shadows, as well as level 9.
Every bit of HP required to keep him alive. But yeah, I mean, it's not like they didn't have a great plan B if the Tinker had a rough start. That's the main issue. Lasso will find the Visage, though, and this is how Navi US can look to mount the comeback. Although, an Entangle would not help, and Brax will get caught by one. Double Familiar Stun will end up going down. It's a bat for a Visage. Generally, I'd say that's a bad trade, but I almost feel like any trades are good for Navi US.
Yeah, they need to get kills on the board. They need to stifle the momentum of Union Gaming. And if it was at a time where Roche was close to respawning, I think it would be even a bigger kill on the Visage. But as it stands, it's just at least getting something and moving some gold into the reliable wallet instead. But yeah, we'll see. The Force Snap still come out in an okay time here, about 22 minutes in. And that's probably their best bet for getting themselves back into it. Because Avenge, as much as we were talking about him getting a lot of experience, he is currently still level 9. And as such, the swap is occasionally a great tool to break out the Tinker or to break the lasso, but there is a possibility that he'll be caught out of position and won't be able to respond in time.
That's true. Ultimately, if you're Union Gaming, you're not looking to win this game by ganking Tinker. If you wanted to do that, you should have drafted Bat Rider, Clockwork, Storm, heroes like that. Maybe a Nature's Prophet if you have a really powerful starter, or Wisp potentially, but I'd say those first three are the main ones. And you're going to look to make a move here inside round top lane. If he senses something's up, he'll blink away just in the nick of time. Actually was playing in the dark, but I guess looked at the other lanes and just saw mid's pushed in, no one's defending it, and we're free farming their jungle and bottom lane. And so he'll play it safe and back off. But yeah, I'm not seeing a great lineup to gank a Tinker, even with the slow start for him. And Angel will get pulled in. The Aegis has expired, and he's going to end up going down. Brew looks to turn this, though. But Boulder Toss fought, killing him off now. Hunting for Brax in the trees.
This
perhaps. No, going for Korok instead. And he'll pursue him through the trees. Has the TP available. Good luck getting out of this one, though, with a Boulder Toss to follow you. The Fire Panda clapping and right-clicking was the Earth Panda in that exchange as well. We'll get the kill. And Brax is, I think, looking to cut this creep wave top at this point.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way to halt any momentum up on the top lane, but probably down mid is where they would be looking naturally. But they're already up here, so maybe they will try to...
Like, trading's fine, but the whole strategy, it just falls apart if it's the Tinker dying. Like, the other heroes can make noble sacrifices. Tinker has to live. That's the only way this works.
There's two interesting pickups coming out from both sides in the supportive realm. The number 4 position, Enchantress and Visage, are both rapidly approaching Aghanim Scepters. 143.7 just picked his up, and of course the Visage will be having one in about 500, 600 gold. So right around the time that he gets the second point in his familiars, he will be able to get the third familiar up from that. And of course the Enchantress right now, she can benefit a decent bit from the Aghanims, but it's really during daytime that she's going to get the most value out of it, when she actually can see long range, get more impetus strikes out at an extremely long range, and that's going to be pretty huge, especially against the Bear. The Bear is pretty tanky now, just 6 armor, but has magic resistance of 33%. So if you get some pure damage on that thing, it'll drop pretty quick.
Yeah, and look at the Bear. Assault Caress now on the way for Angel, so the big question is who's building the pipe, because I am with you, Blaze. If as good of a lead as it is for Union Gaming, they shouldn't be looking to push this more than like 10-15 minutes from now, and I would say ideally you want to be going for your first lane of racks with the next Aegis, and pipe is crucial for that. They are building fairly tanky, multiple Aghanim Scepters inbound, one already up on the Razor and the Brew, and one coming on the Visage, but March is still going to kill your creep wave. Even for a mech it will, and then what do you do? Hold that thought as they jump in bottom lane at 1437. No TP scroll. No TP scroll at all. He's just going down here. Don't really see much alternative. This will force out a Primal Split, though. Be forced away by Brax. Boulder Toss was there, going back for snaking. Then the Tinker, he's gotten caught out in the trees snaking. Not again. Your team's supposed to be creating space, not you.
Wow, that is... I mean, like, he was home free with the Batrider Force Staff, but... they're crumbling right now. They're trying to find answers, they're trying to find responses, and they're committing resources they don't have. So,
barring committing the wrong resources.
Exactly. Yeah, that too.
Geez, what a mess.
I mean, right now the pandas just won't die. You can try to bail somebody out with something like a Force Staff. That's great, but you're not going to prevent, once the split comes out, the pandas from doing their thing.
Just run when you see the split.
Exactly. They don't
maybe
have
in 10
any
minutes
tools
you
to
can
catch
fight
beasts. Yeah, they don't have easy ways to respond to those units, so it is really just a turtle up, avoid that full confrontation at all costs, and try to pull back long term.
Fogged will make a play for his team, though. Slows down and silences the Venge, and then follows it up with the ultimate. So Mystic Flare securing a desperately needed clean kill as they look to jump in mid lane. Brax getting rooted up almost instantly when he lassos Angel. They will still get the kill, though, with the support of Korok, and in the end, the lone Druid just off on an island. Didn't have the support. The Brew split on cooldown. He was pushing bottom lane. 2 heroes were pushing in the top. Xander and Benhaz combined to try to siege this tower out, but didn't actually get too much damage on it. So a much-needed swing in momentum, even if it's a slight swing. It's Union Gaming having heroes dead, which means they are not 5-manning right now, and that's the biggest thing Navios need to be avoiding.
But check out the warding situation. Right now, Union Gaming have 3 really intense wards coming out. One is going to protect any approaches towards Roshan. It's going to dispel in just a minute, though, so they might need to act on that pretty soon. Another is actually a magic bush ward, so it's blocking off camp respawns, as well as giving them some good jungle vision. And then this one that I think a lot of support players are starting to place extremely frequently is just a good Western Radiant jungle oppression type ward. So they're getting offensive, they're getting active.
This ward is super legit.
Yeah, they're going to take a lot of control if they keep that mentality up. For now, it's going to be Roshan. The wards will last just long enough to make them comfortable taking this down.
As bad as this is, I still feel this is the key Aegis for Union Gaming. Like, with this, I would like to see them at the very least take the tier 2s and maybe force a buyback on the Tinker. Even if you don't take Rex.
Yeah.
Threaten a tier 3. They want to be taking some structural objectives with this one to me.
I think at least like 60% of a tier 3 is what they should expect from this, but it's difficult. We've talked about a lot of the drawbacks of trying to push up against Navius' lineup, but they seem to be just bashing their heads against the brick wall here, trying to build up as much strength as possible. Reaver coming out for Benhaz. We just see like 4-staff, the Bracer Urn casually for Jericho, not opting for a 4-staff for those Mystic Flare bailouts. They just want to go ahead and get as much raw HP as possible.
Where's Snake King? He needs to be prepping for this push with March. He's now TPing out mid, but it's too late. They've just forfeited a tier 2 without even dropping a single layer of March.
And they could jump him.
And he might go down here as the familiar stuns catch off. 4-staffed away. Yeah, if the bear wasn't blinded and got a root, that probably would have been his death. But you need to be ready when they arrive with March, or they may take the tower, but at the very least they'll take damage and you could potentially turn it. They're looking to chase now though. Xander gets Flame Break back in. Turns with a Grave Chill. Maybe it's Brax who's in trouble here. The medallion damage stacking up. The Batrider forced off the fight, and now a Bruce Split comes out. Korok, he's dove deep behind enemy lines, trying to kill off this Visage, but he will pay with his life. Southern end of the engagement. They kill off the Scarth Mage, and Navi US now forced to retreat. Snake King trying to stall the push out, but they're in position. I think they can at least threaten the tier 3 here. No Doom. Cyclone? Oh, just found the Enchantress. Honestly, not even worth going for that kill. Just push in.
They seem to still want it, though. He's going to be forced away by Braxia. They really just need to push in. The Familiars have full stacks. They're going to do a lot of damage. This tier 3 is gone.
They have the Bear resummon. Where's the Tinker? No March being spanned up. He's only now TPing in, but the tier 3 is down, and the racks are soon to follow. This is looking to be your first late of racks for Union Gaming. With the triple Familiars, it's almost guaranteed. Batrider blinking in. He's got 4-staff cooling down. He didn't have it ready when he jumped in, and Brax will give up his life. He forfeits that one in exchange of side rail and dives deep onto Snake King. There's no blind available, but the slow will prevent him from getting that chase off, and they still take their first lane of racks. That's the key for Union. A clean racks, more than they could have even hoped for with this Aegis, and, well, do they get out safely? That's the question here, as the buyback comes out from the Batrider. Navi US looking for a big trade. They'll get a Razor kill, and they will get Avenge, but still, overall, Union have to be happy with that. Easy lane of racks, and nothing to stop them from doing it as soon as their heroes respawn. They still have Aegis on the lone Druid.
I mean, because he only has one Bear Summon, that does mean that they're just going to be able to focus that instead of the lone Druid himself, so maybe the Aegis won't come into play so much. But
by the time the team respawns, though, it's going to be... He'll have the first one. He'll have the first bear up, and I guess it's 2 minutes until he's got the second one ready.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm saying. Is
so, the like 2 minutes they can go again. They'll still have the Aegis for 4, right? 4 minutes.
Yeah, they've only tapped into 3 minutes of it, so they got about 3 minutes and 5 seconds left on that.
So they have like a minute to do the push with the double bear.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So out of that, though, in the retreat, there were some nice kills coming out. Fog did get a kill on the Spirit Bear that we're talking about, so he is able to build up his 4-staff. Other items progressing. We are going to be seeing Enchantress actually build up some attack speed here, just probably finishing the treads pretty casually. I would doubt that's going to be anything else, but just that attack speed in general is going to allow those impetuses to fly more. She'll have more intelligence to shoot those off as well. And Korok's actually going to be able to pick up the Shiva's Guard. The attack speed reduction is really huge against the lineup of Union Gaming. They are very attack speed reliant because when you consider the Vengeance Aura, they've already got a lot of attack damage coming out. The Razor in particular is going to be stacking it up. So I think this negative aura from Shiva's is actually a lot bigger than some may think, and of course you also get some nice armor to give yourself some selfish durability.
I was gonna say, Angel, you should probably build your Assault Cuirass, but it looks like he's finally done it. As he jumps on Snake and he gets a first hit root. Oh, this could be trouble. Where's that blind? No, he'll be able to TP out. There's no follow-up for that one, but that... Once again, Snake King caught in a precarious position, barely able to escape.
Jericho's got Blink. They should get one kill out of this. They should be able to
it's cooling down. Cooling down for 3 seconds.
Yeah, he could have blinked on 1437 though. Like the Bat's obviously going to Firefly away, but he could have Blink, Wave of Terror, swap back the Enchantress, and that would have been a kill there. But just not having the full awareness of positioning in that regard, and they're just going to go for the invasion once more. They want to try to bring down Snake King, but he's already on the retreat, and he's actually going to be going for the Sheepstick build-up instead of the Dagon. He knows he doesn't have any momentum. The Dagon, the magic damage isn't really going to do too much for him, so he just wants some control. He just wants some disable, and that's going to help him out a lot.
You know, I remember at the summit that Hani was asked about the Dagon build on Tinker. This was when Excalibur was really starting to showcase it. Back then, like, people would often just go Hex Rush, or once in a while Shivas. And Hani said he felt that the only time to go Hex was when you were ahead. I didn't really get a chance to pick his brain about it too much, but he felt like going Hex when you're behind is just a losing formula. So I guess we'll have that principle at least partially tested here as they look to push in.
I think it might depend on what heroes you go up against. I mean, obviously, there's some heroes that are weaker to just being singled out for a 3.5 or 7-second disable.
Oh, blink in from the Brew. BKB, he's now going to look to dive back as they kill off Fog, but they really don't care about killing the rest of these heroes. Just zone them off the tower and try to take it down quickly. They might lose their Brew, though. He's been doomed. His BKB is wearing off, and now he's completely isolated. No Brewmaster split. Also ending a massive godlike streak. Big kill as Korok charges in, but he underestimates the damage that Union Gaming could dish out as they turn and chase the other way. The Doom buys back instantly, but has no Doom, has no Shivas. Second lane of Rex falls. Union Gaming are breaking through this Navi US base in a big, big way. 2 lanes of Rax essentially down. The range Rax will not regen. Gonna fall sooner or later as the Familiars try to cover the path of retreat, but maybe they go back in for this, looking to finish up Rax. The Familiars picking up one at a time. Not enough, though. They'll lose Xander. Continuing to chase will be Navi US, hunting for the Lone Turtle. TP out. Attempt for one, but there's a Centaur Stomp to prevent this. Swap available on Jericho. Not even needed. This bear's too strong. Blinking forward. Now the Venge Stun will follow. Jericho looking to kill off Korok. Do they get a swap? They do. And they get the kill. That's a dieback from the Doom. An absolute train wreck of a game.
Extremely unfortunate
for Navi US.
And to try to get back into this, it just seems beyond a difficulty. I mean, the amount that's going to have to happen
nothing. He
for
has
them to pull
Blink
ahead
and Ultimate Orb. Could build a Hex, but you need more than a Hex at this point.
Yeah, I'm racking my brain for different ways that they can make this happen, and I'm just not seeing it. I mean, we have the Harder Tarrasque up on Razor. He's absolutely huge. The Brewmaster, yeah, if he gets doomed out, then he doesn't contribute, but the Razor gets to pretty much do whatever he wants. Gets to either Storm, Link, mech up, and stay in the fight. I mean, the Hex will help, but you have to remember if you're hexing a Razor, you're hitting the Unstable Current multiple times, and I don't know. He's just so vulnerable right now. Like, although he actually has more HP than a Dagon buildup would give him right now, it's so easy for them to lock him down, and has been for this entire game.
And Blaze, the biggest thing for me is, like, Navi US actually just can't let Union get to their base again. If they get to their base again, that's pretty much a third lane of Rex. Maybe they have one more defense in them with multiple buybacks and Glyph, but Glyph right now is 3 minutes off cooldown, so if they push before the next stages, they won't have the Glyph ready. And I just, even if Navi US get 5 kills, I see them still losing their third lane of Rax. Whether it's here or just at the very least creeps pushing and taking tier 4s. They have to take fights outside of their base, but I don't really think they have the firepower to do it. Really, it's, like you said, rack your brain. It's, I guess, amazing Batrider play from Brax.
Yeah, I think pickoffs could help. They have to kill off the Lone Druid so many times, though.
Well,
actually, we're gonna see.
He gets caught by a clap here. Brax now slowed down by the Drunken Haze. He swapped back in. They can't afford to lose their Batrider now. No buyback. 900 gold short. Brax dead for 80 seconds. And that might just be it.
Yeah, you hate to see it end so anticlimactically. They've been fighting every inch of ground to try to get back into this game, but the tier 2 is absolutely nothing.
He's caught out in the trees here. The Familiar Stuns are going to find him, and this is probably the death of the king. He does have buyback ready. He's going to have to use it. Union Gaming just running a freight train through Navi US land, as they will attempt a trade here with the Enchantress split pushing, but it's way too slow. And the pressure mounts. Side railing blinking in. Quick reactions on the Hex from Snake King, who just fought back for this one, but I'll go down again. It's a dieback now from the Tinker. Another death for the Kane. He's 2-9 this game. What a struggle it's been. Forget about the kills. They just need these mega creeps. Navi US, one of the bigger names on paper in this tournament, will GG out. Defeated by Union Gaming in convincing and one-sided fashion.
Yeah, extremely. Like, this was very one-sided. They didn't have an edge in this game at almost any single point. They lost control of their jungle early. They drafted with the assumption that they would have that in their arsenal, and that 1v1 matchup just seemed so skewed. You wouldn't look at it just hero to hero, but looking at what
happened in the lane,
what Citadel could do against Snake King was just absolutely appalling, and it really just broke them down. They couldn't rebound from that. They relied way too much on the Tinker to make things happen, and in the end, just nothing came of it. So
yeah, their
good
whole
game.
laning setup was kind of built around, okay, it's Tinker versus Brew. Tinker really shouldn't die here. It shouldn't happen unless supports rotate. And we're keeping Enchantress in the jungle, as well as Skywrath kind of poking around so that we'll know if your supports make a move mid. Union Gaming never smoke gank mid. Snake King just got crushed by a Brewmaster 1v1, and let Brew get into range for that first clap with no haste, no invis, and
The saddest part of it for me is that if I'm putting myself in the shoes of 2 or 3 members of Navi US, there's nothing you could do differently in that game. Like,
well,
you won't want to
like
look
after the draft, yeah. There's
oh yeah,
nothing
of course.
you could do.
But I'm saying once you're in that game and you have those heroes in those lanes, and it's just you look at, okay, if I can get this smoke gank off and do this and this, but they didn't have any offensive gank potential against the Brewmaster, just the Enchantress roaming solo, and yeah, it's just they got some pressure on the Lone Druid for a couple of rounds, but in total he dies 5 times, and yeah, most of that in the latter stages. It's just they didn't have a handle on this, and I didn't really see many opportunities for them to change that up. A little too greedy in the draft, but when it came down to the game itself, their hands were kind of tied.
And guys, with that, we have 3 more matches coming up for you today in Starladder America. The next match will be Dream Destroyers versus Evil Geniuses, as we bring up the full schedule. Union Gaming taking one off of Navi US here, improving their position in the standings and giving the South American squad a hope of maybe moving on to the playoffs. Still some games to go here in the group stages of Starladder America, but yeah, Dream Destroyers versus EG, then CNB. I believe they're now called Pain Gaming, but Starladder still needs to update their database. We'll be playing not today, of course, Smash Sama's team, and then we round out the day with Navi US searching for redemption against a stiff opponent in Sna. Sna, they took down EG earlier in an absolute nail-biter that you had the pleasure of casting. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and
it feels like it was like ages ago. It was such an epic match. With that being said, guys, you're watching Starladder America, brought to you by Beyond the Summit. I'm LD. He's Blaze. You can, of course, follow him on Twitter, @BlazeCasting. Myself, @LDDota. We will take a quick break. When we return, Dream Destroyers versus Evil Geniuses. Stay tuned.